The end of year awards assembly just showed up on your schedule. How are you feeling? Here's my unpopular opinion. I don't like these assemblies. I don't like them at all. But I do know that they're non-negotiable for many. So in this episode, I'm going to be sharing some creative ideas to make it work for all of your students.
Hey, special educators. I'm Jennifer from Positively Learning. Welcome to the Special Educators Resource Room. If you're like me, you're always looking for ways to save time and streamline your work. That's why this podcast was created, to give you the systems and solutions you need to get your time back. Tune in for tips, tricks, and tools that will help you manage your workload and make the most of your time. Whether you're brand new or experienced, all are welcome in the Special Educators Resource Room.
Why don't I like these awards? I do feel that recognition of our students' effort is really important, but I saw the toll that it took on my students. I remember one student, we had a social story preparing for these awards assemblies. Even though he was absent 28 times in quarter 4, he was crushed that he didn't win the perfect attendance award. There just wasn't that connection yet. And maybe he could hang in there on not winning the first award or the second award, but an hour-long awards assembly was just too much. I really did not think that was necessary to put our students through. I also had students on the flip side who had won awards. I had one student who won some big award. I don't remember what it was for, maybe Principal's Award, and it was based on our formal testing that we used. Now, I personally administered this test in a small group setting, and I watched this student do a lot of guessing. I'm pretty sure some buttons were chosen because they were the student's favorite color, not because the student had listened carefully and thought about the answer. But the end results were awesome. The student did amazing. They crushed their growth goal and won this big award. And family came and celebrated, and there I was thinking, what do I do? What do I say about this? So I'm not a huge fan of these end-of-year award assemblies. However, I do know that it's often expected, and I should come up with a solution rather than just complain about it. Just in case you're feeling a similar way, here's some creative ideas for the end of year. Consider holding your own awards inside your classroom before the assembly. This can help students feel that recognition and be recognized for their efforts on a smaller scale, which may be more appropriate. These can be growth awards, using award certificates to celebrate students who've made lots of progress in a specific area. Maybe this area is academics, or maybe it's SEL. I put together a set of 50 award certificates. They're in my TBT shop. I'll put the link in the show notes, and you can fully edit them to add students' names and edit the actual award. I put this together because I just couldn't find what I was looking for. I really like these awards. I feel like these would have so much more impact than getting a perfect attendance award. Here's a few of them: the Growth Mindset Award, the Respectful Communicator Award, the Positive Peer Influence Award, and then there's awards for Positive Attitude, Best Effort, Team Player, Best Listener, Self-Advocate, Perseverance, Inclusive Community Award, Gratitude, Optimism, Self-Awareness, Sportsmanship, and so many more. Another idea would be to hold these types of small classroom award assemblies more often, rather than waiting to the end of the year, which can often feel so chaotic already. If you have monthly awards or quarterly awards inside your classroom, that can give students a chance to build up their stamina. You can model and then role play how to accept an award and how to respond when a peer wins an award and you don't. In this smaller classroom setting, it may be easier to provide appropriate feedback as students are developing these important social skills. You could turn these into Student of the Month awards or Student of the Quarter or semester. You can even set it up where students are giving each other awards. That's a great way to build up a classroom community. Now, these are helpful suggestions, but they take a little bit of planning. So maybe you can think about these for next year, but you need a solution right now. If you're looking at your schedule and you see an awards assembly at the end of the week, here's some ideas. It would be great if you could give some of these creative award suggestions to whoever's planning it. But I also realize you might not feel comfortable doing that on such short notice. I'd start thinking about which students you're going to be with during this awards assembly time. How are they going to handle this sensory experience? I know for us, it was always moving to the auditorium or a gymnasium where the acoustics were so different than the classroom. We had an auditorium with these squeaky chairs, the kind that your students get practically folded up into. So there's just a lot going on, and I wanted to prepare students as much as possible. So this might look like a social story. It might look like visiting the area a couple of days ahead of time. Visiting it more than once would be terrific, but I realize time is precious. I would also want to pick an exit seat and begin breaking down the expectations of what's going to be happening at the awards assembly and how we are going to handle it. I would role play if we could so that I could provide that feedback. And after all of this preparation and some prayers, I wouldn't hesitate to leave the environment, in this case, the awards assembly. I've worked with many students over the years who were able to attend these types of ceremonies throughout the school year, and maybe at the beginning they were able to stay 3, 4, 5 minutes. And by the end of the year, they were up to 10 minutes, 12 minutes, maybe even 15. Now, the ceremony might be an hour or longer, and my students only staying 10 or 12 minutes, but that sounds like growth to me based on where we started the school year. I'm going to wrap up this episode now. It's a short one, and I'm not even sure if it was entirely helpful, but hopefully if you're listening this long, you feel understood, you feel heard. Because even though this is a joyous occasion, it doesn't mean it's easy on our students. And we are there to advocate. Thank you so much for listening. If these awards sound like something your students would love to receive, I'll put the link in the show notes. It's also in my TPT store. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time in the Special Educators Resource Room.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think? Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe buttons so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.